Well, ladies and gentlemen, the barrage of Microsoft Flight Simulator news just doesn't seem to stop. It's almost like Christmas has come early for a lot of these developers with the amount of information they're giving us on the add-ons they're working on. And AviationLads, who is a colleague of mine from YouTube, has created a masterful cinematic again, now highlighting the Embraer E-Jets' interior. So we've finally gotten to see the cockpit, the displays, the cabin that's going to be included with this aircraft that is highly anticipated from FlightSim Studio and Aerosoft. Now, just last week we previewed and dissected the entire exterior of the E-Jets video that was also made by AviationLads, where we covered everything we know about the E-Jets and the company that's making it, their ethos, their mission, and everything like that. So if you guys would like to check that video out, it is linked on screen right now, or you can find it in the description section of this video. With that all said, and with your popcorns in hand, let's get started. What is going on, guys? Varun from Flyby Simulations here, and welcome back to an exciting news video. Now, right before we get started, I do have to say that this channel is growing at an extremely fast rate. We just hit 14,000 subscribers yesterday, which is exciting news. So if you guys want to be part of the Flyby Simulations journey, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification or bell icon so you guys can stay in the know-how of everything happening in the world of flight simulation. With that all said, let's get into the meat of this video and start looking at the Embraer E-Jets cockpit, cabin, and everything in between. So, ladies and gentlemen, you might have seen the trailer played in the back of this video so far, but at Flyby Simulations, we like to go a little bit beyond that. We like to dissect the trailer. So we'll slow some parts of the video down and actually show you guys what we're talking about. I gathered a lot of insights from this trailer that I would like to share with you guys. So starting off, number one, we have some jaw-dropping rain effects. Now, I don't personally know if this is in any way default. It does seem proprietary given its appearance, and I've seen this effect on other sort of aircraft that have been showcased even on AviationLads' previous videos, but it could also very well be AviationLads' cinematic ability. So from the few shots that I've seen, the rain does look very real and immersive on the windscreen, both inside the cockpit as well as from an external perspective, as you can see here. So very exciting stuff to see, and if this is what we're going to be getting with the aircraft, I really can't wait. Moving into the cockpit itself, let's dissect some of the elements of the cockpit. Immediately, it's clear that it's not a shoddy, hasty Captain Sim job that's been done with this aircraft. The individual buttons, levers, displays, and peripheral equipment around the cockpit has been paid very good attention to. So kudos to FlightSim Studio and Aerosoft for that. Moving on, let's talk about how the surfaces look. The surfaces are properly reflective, which includes the throttles, the undersides of the glare shield lights, various displays reflecting off of each other as well. It really adds to the whole totality of the immersion, as you guys can see here, especially because the video has been filmed at night primarily, and you can really see how all of these colors and lights are bouncing off of each other. Speaking of the buttons themselves, they've also been very faithfully modeled. Now, I have to say right off the bat that I'm no expert at Embraer aircraft, but I do have limited experience with the SSG Embraer E-Jets from X-Plane 11, and the button placements all look in very good order. Very like the real thing on the Embraer E175. That is, of course, the aircraft that is being showcased in this video. Several buttons also do seem operational in this case, but of course, they've only been glossed over in this video. Next week, we should be getting a proper system depth kind of video by AviationLads that should go into what sort of system depth we can come to expect with this add-on. But so far, from what we can see, several buttons do seem very well placed and also, for the most part, operational. We can also see various little placards and scratches and scruff marks around the various pedestals and areas of the cockpit, giving it a used and rugged look, which is very indicative of a real aircraft in service. Again, very good, nothing more to say there. Speaking of the cockpit, let's then go on to talk about the lighting, which is one of the most staple parts of add-ons that make for aesthetically pleasing experiences within Microsoft Flight Simulator, given the PBR technology and the various lighting effects the sim now allows for. And I'm very happy to say that FlightSim Studio and Aerosoft have totally taken these technologies on board, and as you can see in the back, all of these technologies have been incorporated in this cockpit as well. Everything just looks jaw-droppingly beautiful. It's all in 4K, and of course, AviationLads' cinematic experience also comes into this because he's very good at creating these beautiful videos, but I really think that this is going to be indicative of the final product that we will be receiving in these simulators as well. I also have to say that it's no accident that AviationLads started the cinematic in the dark. Something about an aircraft with modern avionics powering on in the dark truly speaks to that tech nut inside of me. Dissecting the lighting though, I have to say that it looks awesome. It's truly immersive. The iconic whitish panel backlighting looks very realistic, and the colors on the PFD, as well as the various other instruments, are all super indicative of the real Embraer E75. So I have checked this against real Embraer E175 cockpit footage, and it looks very realistic, so that's saying something. Overall, I have to say the lighting looks awesome, and I'm very excited to be able to check it out in person when it does release. Next up, let's talk about systems. Now, as mentioned, we should be getting a detailed system in-depth kind of video from AviationLads next week, but until then, plenty of work does seem to have gone into the back-end systems of the aircraft as well. From what we can check out in this video itself, the PFD and the multi-purpose display unit housing the ND all look very realistic. Scouring the video multiple times, I didn't necessarily see any inoperative system pages or buttons, which is very good to see. Of course, it's a very good indication as to what level of depth you can expect from the aircraft when it eventually releases. You do see the engine indications, system status pages, and all primary indications operational, so fantastic stuff here. The power-up sequence at the very beginning of the video, as you can see in the background, also looks very well timed and very well depicted. There's something really annoying about, you purchasing an add-on and powering something up from cold and dark with modern avionics and everything just coming on with the click of a button. That's really not how it works in real life, and to have FlightSim Studio modeling various different displays coming on at different times with the sounds and everything like that does look very good. Now, the Honeywell avionics, the iconic Embraer Honeywell avionics, also look very realistic, especially the iconic Embraer FMC. Not having this FMC was going to be a deal breaker for many, so I guess it answers the question about how detailed the add-on will be to a certain extent. Last week, we also dissected how FlightSim Studio's company ethos revolved around realism in their add-ons, and it's clear that they don't just talk the talk, but also walk the walk. Overall, I have to say that the system implementation and depth looks really promising. One other thing that was very apparent throughout the video were the animations. Boy, there were a lot of animations. From light switches being flicked on, to the cockpit door latch opening, to the window opening, and even the seat position being movable, to sun visors with the ability to actually block and redirect sunlight. So they're not just gimmicks there that you can see towards the end of the video. These sun visors do really work, and all of these several moving parts means added complexity, which in turn means more things to do, which means a happy button or a happy flyby simulation. So really excited to see all of this, tons of things to do in the cockpit and tons of Easter eggs to find as and when I get this aircraft for myself. Finally, I'm very happy to see a fully modeled cabin as well. Now, I know a lot of people care about that, me not being one of them, unfortunately. I really don't care if there's a seatbelt sign in a cabin, but speaking of seatbelt signs, no smoking signs and seatbelt signs are interactive, making for a cabin that feels alive. Passengers haven't been modeled, but we don't know if we will indeed be getting that or not eventually. I would like them to include passengers, but let's see what the story on that is when the add-on eventually comes out, or through later iterations of updates that the dev team provides us prior to the add-on's release. The lights in the cabin, and this is something that I've seen with the Asobo mod back in the day with X-Plane 11, the lights can also be adjusted based on the time of day and whether you would like to have mood lighting or not, so the cabin definitely does look alive. So that is all, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty much all I was able to dissect and extract from this little 40-second teaser trailer of the interior of the aircraft that AviationLads shared. I know 100% that I missed some stuff, I missed some key details, so please do let me know down in the comment section below if I did miss those things. Point them out so that other viewers who come across your comment can be enlightened in that respect as well. So right before wrapping up the video, let's also talk about a little bit of supplementary info about the E-Jets, about what we know so far about the status of this project. So there is no definitive release date just yet. We still know that it's in the coming soon status, which is what it says on the FlightSim Studio website. AviationLads on Facebook has highlighted, as I said earlier in the video, that there will be another video next week going into detail regarding the systems of the E-Jets. So I'm very excited about that. We'll get to see whether this aircraft is just a pretty horse or whether it can really gallop. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified when we dissect that video as well. I'm really excited to check out how they've incorporated the Honeywell avionics, the custom FMC, and so many other aspects of the Embraer E-Jets that make it so iconic. I also know several people will ask about Xbox support. Again, as of yet, it's unknown. However, we do know that Aerosoft has a very good working relationship and an official partnership with Asobo. So if there's any hope for an aircraft add-on to come to Xbox, it's likely one made by Aerosoft. If not, with WASM support in 2023, I would venture to say several aircraft could be making their way over to the console side of things sooner rather than later. So I hate to say it, but just sit tight. Good days are on the horizon for you folks on console. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this video. Of course, huge credit to AviationLads. If you guys haven't seen his full video, make sure to check it out in the description section of the video. There will be a link there. Watch it, really sort of, immerse yourself in the cinematic experience that AviationLads has tried to create. But of course, if you guys want to see more dissections like this, or case studies I've done, or any progress updates on the state of add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications icon to never miss out on future videos. With that all said, thanks for watching and thanks for flying by.